Hi everyone, welcome back to my video. So in this video, I think not very different from other video. We will talk about Mikrotik router. Before that, I want to explain something regarding to internet. So as we all know together, the internet access is very important for one company. So if we don't have internet connection, so we cannot fulfill our work in our operation of the company. Okay, so that's why most of them they invest on the internet. It means that they invest in two ISP or they have a two-link internet connection. Okay, so if you are new here watching my video, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to give the thumbs up if you like my video. Okay, so let's go back to our topic. In Mikrotik router, we will configure load balancing on the WAN. So like this, you have two ISP or two internet connection. You can load balance the traffic. So it means that you can use the internet at the same time. It means that both internet connection you can use at the same time, not for backup. When you have both ISP up and running, you can load balance traffic to ISP1 and ISP2. And when ISP1 down, all the traffic will go through ISP2. Same thing for ISP2. When it is down or no internet connection, all traffic will go to ISP1. So this is a very popular configuration that most of the router and the firewall have this method or have this technology. For example, for the FortiGate, Huawei, PFSense, Indian, and same thing for Mikrotik that we will learn together in this topic. So I will show you some configuration so we can do that. Okay, so I don't want to explain more, so we can go to the lab together and see how it works. Okay everyone, so this is our GNS3. We go to router, we add our Mikrotik router. Okay, so here our Mikrotik router, and then we go to switch. We add our switch. So this is our switch, and we need to add a client as well. So here I have some client, PC client. Okay, so we add client for our VLAN network. I also have a Windows WAN client as well. Okay, and then we add internet as we already know that it will be our ISP. So we have two ISP, and then we do the load balancing on Mikrotik router. Okay, so everyone, please give me 5 minutes. Oh sorry, give me 2 minutes. I will complete this topology and we will go through the configuration step by step together. Okay, so we start our Mikrotik router in order to get it run the first startup, and this is our WAN 1. Our WAN 1
I connect directly with my Wi-Fi. So here is the IP address of WAN 1. Okay. For WAN 1, I give it 1.0/24, and this is WAN 2, and here the IP address of WAN 2, I give it 192.168.81.7. Okay, so WAN 2 is my NAT network in VMware. Okay. Also, we have VLAN as you already know that we will have 3 VLAN. For this lab practice, I have a VLAN 10. This is the IP address of VLAN 10 network. Okay, and then we have a VLAN 20. So I just copy and paste for the VLAN 20, and one more VLAN is VLAN 30. So it is easy for us to practice together 10, 20, 30. Okay. Okay. So now we have 3 VLAN here, and for 3 clients here represent for each VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. Okay, everyone, I want to verify my IP address on WAN 2 that we will connect with Mikrotik router. So make sure I give the correct IP address. So let's check together. Okay, so as you can see that we have the correct IP address network 81. Okay, so this is correct. Let's connect back the our connection, network connection. So now we go to our Mikrotik router together in order to assign IP address, and then we can configure Mikrotik router using WinBox. So it is easy for us to configure. Okay, so this is some basic configuration with a command line on Mikrotik router. So the first login, username admin without password, and then we need to type in the new password. So I put it admin, the same as username. Okay. Okay, so now we will assign IP address to our Ethernet 1. It is WAN 1 as well. Okay, so here the command line for assign IP address on Mikrotik router. Okay. Okay, after we assign the IP address on Ethernet 1, so we show the IP address by using command print. So you will see it also have a IP address from the ACP as well. So anyway, we use the IP address that we assign static. We don't want to use the ACP IP address. Okay, so here we can connect using Winbox, and we go to IP address, and then we can see here the ACP and the static IP that Mikrotik router get from WAN 1. Okay, so this one we don't want to use it, so we remove, and then I go to the ACP client to disable the ACP. So like this, Mikrotik router don't get IP address anymore. Okay, we use the static IP. So now we edit some setting on our Ethernet, so it is easy for us to do the configuration. So we know that okay, Ethernet 1 it is WAN 1, and Ethernet 2 it is WAN 2. So let's edit some setting together. Okay, so after edit some settings, so we know that which port is for WAN and which port is for our local LAN. And then we add the IP address for our WAN 2. Here the IP address, and we select WAN 2. Okay, now we have IP address for WAN 1 and WAN 2. So we need to configure our VLAN in order to assign IP address for our VLAN. Okay, so here we configure VLAN together on Ethernet 3 that we just call it a local LAN. Okay, so we copy the configuration setting from VLAN 10 and edit it as a VLAN 20, VLAN ID 20, and we also have a VLAN 30 as well. So VLAN 30. Okay, so after we have create 3 VLAN 10, 20, 30 under Ethernet 3. So this Ethernet will be the trunk port with our switch. Okay, now we add IP address for our interface VLAN together. Okay, done for our VLAN configuration, the IP address, and then sorry, and then we go to the ACP server in order to configure the ACP server for our client on each VLAN. Okay, so before we configure the ACP server, we need to configure our DNS as well. So in order to allow our client can access through firewall with Google DNS. Okay, and then we process our DHCP setup step by step. Okay, for VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. Okay, so now our DHCP server successfully completed for each VLAN. We continue to our switch. We start our switch and we will create VLAN on our switch as well and assign trunk port and access port for our specific VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. Okay, so now we start our configuration. We create VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. Now we have 3 VLAN, so we verify our VLAN here. Yes, correct. And then we assign interface port Ethernet 0/0 as trunk port, that it is an uplink to Mikrotik router. Okay, after that we assign our port to each VLAN. Okay, so here our port configuration, everything is correct. Now we start with our client to test whether it is working well with our IP address, that the client can get IP address from Mikrotik router. So let's test together with the Windows 7 client. Okay, we start our Windows 7 client and wait for the startup finish, and we check the IP address together. Now we go to network adapter setting and we check the IP address. Our Windows 7 client cannot get IP address. I don't know why it cannot get IP address. So let's try to check again, try to disable and try to enable to refresh our network adapter. Okay, everyone, so still not get IP address. So like this, I try to restart Windows 7 client. So let's check with our VLAN 10 and VLAN 30 client. So okay, here our PC1 Windows VLAN 20. Now VLAN 20 can get IP address correctly and we cannot ping to internet. We try to check with our client on VLAN 30. VLAN 30 also can get IP address. So I think our configuration is correct on Mikrotik router, the client can get IP address, maybe the problem with our Windows WAN client. Okay, here we can ping to VLAN 20 as well. Okay, everyone, now our Windows WAN is start up again, and let's try to check IP address. Still cannot get IP address. Okay, okay, so the switch is switch port is configured correctly, and we check on Mikrotik router, we can see only VLAN 20 and VLAN 30. So everyone, let's try to restart our GNS3 together, whether our Windows WAN can get IP address or not. Okay, so please wait for a moment. We restart our GNS3 together, and let's see. Okay, now our GNS3 start up. We start our Mikrotik router, we start our switch, and we start our client again, and check to verify the IP address with the VLAN 10. For VLAN 20 and VLAN 30, it is correct. Our client can get IP address from the HP server. So now we are on Windows WAN client. This is VLAN 10, and we try to check again the IP address. Okay, so we go to network adapter setting, and we check the IP address here again. So still cannot get IP address, everyone. Like this, I think our Windows WAN client have problem. So we go to our switch, and we try to assign another port to VLAN 10, and then we try to test with different port. Okay, also we test with our PC client as well, with PC3. So let's check together on PC3. Okay, if PC3 can get IP address, it means that the problem is on Windows WAN. Okay, so we check the IP address. Okay, so PC3 can get IP address. It means that our configuration is correct. The problem is on Windows WAN client. Okay, so it doesn't. So our Windows WAN client, I'm not sure whether it is have some error on network adapter. We try to refresh many times and we try to restart our client, also restart our GNS3, but still cannot get IP address. Like this, we also have another client as well, Windows 10 client. So let's check together with Windows 10 client if Windows 10 client can get IP address. So we test with our Windows 10 client. Okay, so we go to our switch and we assign IP address, we assign the port to our VLAN. Okay, here we test with VLAN 20. Okay, we start our Windows 10 client and check together for the IP address. Okay, now our Windows 10 client starting up, and we check together the IP address on Windows 10. So okay, I think now the client can get IP address from our Mikrotik router. Let's check together. We go to CMD and we tap in the IP config command to check our IP address. Okay, so here as you can see, our Windows 10 client can get IP address 20.13. We go to our Mikrotik router and we check. Okay, so here we can see that this is the address list in Mikrotik router, that we can see that how many clients that Mikrotik router give the IP address to that client. Okay, we try to ping Google. We not yet configure our client to access to internet, but we can ping to other VLAN. Okay, cannot ping to internet. So now it's time for our topic that we want to do configuration on Mikrotik router to load balance the traffic on WAN. So we have two ISP, and here I have some notepad that this is the main point that we will configure on Mikrotik router. We follow this note. I have my note here that I already test and prepare this video. Okay, so for this note I will put in description as well, so you can copy and you can edit some information, and you can use this note as reference for this configuration. Okay, so now we finish on firewall mangle. So we go to our NAT and we add our NAT with our WAN 1 and WAN 2 here. In order to allow our client to access the internet through our WAN 1 and WAN 2. Okay. Okay, after that we go to routing. We add our route with our WAN 1 and WAN 2. So like this, our Mikrotik router will load balance the traffic between WAN 1 and WAN 2 for our client. Okay. Okay, now we successfully configure routing, configure NAT and firewall mangle. So now we go back to our client and we test with our client. So our client can access through the internet. So let's try again with Windows 10 client. Okay, as you can see now, we can access the internet now. I will show you the Windows 10 client is on VLAN 20. So if we try to ping again, you will see the traffic on interface VLAN 20. Okay. The process through our WAN 2. Let's try to test with our PC1. Okay, let's try to test with our client PC2 here. Yes, PC2 also can access to internet, and we check it goes through VLAN 30 and then go to WAN 1. Okay. PC1, let's try to reconnect our PC1. And then we check the IP address and we try to ping test. Okay. PC1 also can access to internet right now, and then we check the routing. PC1 go to WAN 1. Okay. Okay, so our Windows 10 can access through internet by WAN 2. And the other client go to internet by WAN 1. So like this, the Mikrotik router will load balance the traffic between WAN 1 and WAN 2. Okay. So now on Windows 10, I try to open the web browser Microsoft Edge and try to access Google. Okay. Now our client can open the Google web page. Actually, my internet is very slow here. I don't know why, but as you can see, now we can access to internet. Anyway, we already know that our client can access through internet by WAN 1 and WAN 2. Now I try to disconnect the WAN 2, and then we go back to our client to test again whether our client can access to internet or not. Okay, we try to ping test. Our client can still access to the internet. So this is our client go to the internet by WAN 1. So we go to PC1, another client also can access to the internet as well. Okay. We can access to the internet through WAN 1, ISP1. Okay, and then we go back to our Windows 10 client and we try to check again with our Windows 10 client. So let's try to ping to Google. Okay, also can. So for Windows 10, before it access the internet by WAN 2, and now the WAN 2 is disconnect, and it will go back, the traffic go back to WAN 1. So as you can see here, Windows 10 access to the internet by WAN 1. So this is how we can configure our Mikrotik router to load balance the traffic between WAN 1 and WAN 2. If you have two different ISP, so you can use all the internet WAN 1 and WAN 2 or ISP 1 and ISP 2. So now we try to disconnect our WAN 1 and test again with our client through WAN 2. Okay. Now we test with our client. We test on Windows 10 client. Okay. So let's try to ping to Google again. So now we still can access to the internet, and we try to check the routing. Now it route through WAN 2. Okay. Now our client access the internet through WAN 2. Okay, so we try to check again to refresh the web page Google. Okay, now we can access the internet, but my internet a little bit slow. I don't know why too. So as you can see here, I can open Google and try to open YouTube, but very slow here. Now as you can see our WAN, if WAN 1 fail or lost connection, our client can access to the internet through WAN 2, and when our WAN 2 is down or lost connection or something wrong, all the traffic will go to WAN 1, and if WAN 1 and WAN 2 are working fine, so Mikrotik router will load balance the traffic between WAN 1 and WAN 2. This is all for our configuration for this lab. So I hope you understand for lab purpose, and if you have any question, please comment below, and thank you for watching my video.